He's got enough kids.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Shushan Purim. Happy birthday to Avrami.
Oh.
Happy belated birthday to Zevi on his Hebrew birthday. Zevi, his Hebrew birthday was yesterday. So.
Yeah.
All right, got to the Mishnah on Mem Dalet. Today is Daf Mem Dalet in Mesechus Nazir, and away we go. Shleisha minim osurin benazir. There are three qualities or three traits, three halachas when it comes to Mem Dalet Amud Aleph, the Mishnah towards the top. I don't know, there's 10 lines on the top. Right, when it comes to Nazir, Hatuma, Tegalachas, Hayetze min hagefen. So the three categories are Tuma. Yeah, we've seen a lot of this, but now we're going to sort of get compare and contrast today, or the first part. Yeah. Tuma, so also shaving one's head and anything that grape products, and anything that comes from the grapes. Now, rough 24 hours. So chaymer b'tuma v'tegalachas v'yetze v'negefen. So there's a chumrah when it comes to tuma and tegalachas over yetze v'negefen. Shatuma v'tegalachas seitzer. That tuma, one becomes tameh, he has to restart his nazirus. Tegalachas, if one shaves his head, he needs to go ahead before he brings his finishing karbanos. He needs to do a 30-day, hair growth. So that will seiser. Obviously, it won't have to. Let's say he has a long nazirus of 100 days, then it will start it. But if he's a shorter one, that could affect it. And by Yitzim and Geffen, ain't a seiser. By Yitzim and Geffen is not seiser. That's one quality, right? Stira. Now. It's a chumrah when it comes to Yitzim and Geffen over Tuma and Tegalachas. Yitzim and Geffen lo huta mechlalo. There is no heter to go ahead and have wine at all. Not kiddush, not havdalah, not the bris milah, nothing. You can't go have wine. However, Tuma, you find by Tuma, by Meis Mitzvah, right? We learn that from the pasuk, and Tegalachas also. Shaving one's head if one is a mitzora while he's a nazir, so even though he needs to grow back his hair, nevertheless we command him to go ahead and shave his head to finish his tzaras tahara process, and those are hutra miklolim. Tegalachas mitzvah, as it says, tegalachas mitzvah. By tegalachas when it comes to mitzvah, say by mitzora and meis mitzvah, and also meis mitzvah tameh. But when it comes to tuma tegalachas, tuma says that's a cult. It goes ahead and it has to restart everything. Only 30 days. There's no carbon if one goes ahead and has his head shaved in between. Fine. Zok the Gemara. Now the Gemara is going to here to the bottom, literally compare and contrast, and let's learn out one from the other. Or at least attempt to, and unsuccessfully. Yeah.
Someone who would drink wine, eat grapes, whatever. Do they get
malchus? It's malchus. Yeah, they get some malchus, right? But it doesn't start over anything. Continue, right? Exactly. Now, so why don't we go ahead and say, right? Maybe we should have. So it says, when it comes to tuma, that there is no, that one should not be able to go ahead and become tameh, right? For anything, even for a mitzvah. Miyayin should be miyayin. So yayin, which does not go ahead and restart the nazirus. Never had to go ahead and have any sort of wine even for a mitzvah. So tuma shasera says the tuma, which one goes to tameh, he has to restart it. Isn't obvious that we shouldn't allow it to become tameh at all? Therefore, it says so. It says. First father the mother should not become tummy. The emo like tummy of amatame who ulemes mitzvah, but he is allowed to go ahead and be, or he's commanded to be tummy for a mace mitzvah. So what about wine should be permitted from a kalva chaymer? In other words, maybe we should be allowed to go ahead and have wine for, let's say, kiddush or pesach, whatever it is. Bitumba, kalva chaymer tuma, ma tuma shisa seres. So by tuma, which is seiser hucha so tuma which restarts the nazirus, and that is nevertheless there's a time to go ahead and mutter to go ahead and become tameh. So yain shina seiser, so yain which is not so severe that you don't start it over. Isn't it obvious that he should be able to go ahead and have wine for mitzvah? So the pasuk says, So it says next pasuk v'yayin v'shecher yazir la'asur yayin mitzvah k'yayin rishus, to forbid yayin mitzvah just like yayin rishus. The yayin yistar sakol kavachayim. Maybe yayin, wine, one has wine, he should have to go ahead and start over his naziros from a kavachayim mituma. Ma tuma shuja michlala, tuma, which is huja michlala, tuma, which is the our times where may specifically become tameh, and when it becomes tameh, so there is a call. So yayin, which is so severe, shalahuta michlala, they cannot go ahead and drink it for any mitzvah. Like kol shekain she, so it isn't obvious that wine should go ahead and restart. So the pasuk says, "V'hayamim harishani po kimat nazir." Right? What is that? Where's the pasuk over here? Which pasuk is referring to? It says, "It's fine. It's all right." So it says, "V'hayamim harishani po ki tamei nizro." It says, "And the days will fall off because it became tamei." So tuma says there, it's v'nei yayin says there. So it says only with tamei, only tuma that restarts it, but wine does not restart it. I got tigalachas tisar sekol. So maybe shaving should go ahead and restart it all. Now we know that shaving, one goes ahead and shaves or cuts his hair, right? He has to only he just needs 30 days. Maybe it should be like tuma, that it should restart sekol. He should have to start from the beginning. Kavachayim tuma. Ma tuma shaloi asaba mitame kamitma. When tuma, right? One, let's say, who was forbidden, right? In other words, where one is not. Only the person who's a nazir is commanded not to become tameh. But if someone else comes and makes him tameh, he did not violate anything the other person. So serisakol, nevertheless, tuma say serisakol. So tigalachas, but when it comes to shaving, she'asu ba megalech k'miskalech, that if I go ahead and cut a nazir's hair, I am actually chayiv, right? I'm actually chayiv malchus for violating his nazirus by cutting his hair, right? Which we don't find that by tuma. So certainly that shaving should go ahead and start the entire thing. It's more severe. So the pasuk says, right? It says no. Then the days is start over because it became tameh. Tuma so therefore we learn from here that only tuma restarts it all and not tigalachas. So let's learn that from a kavachayim. Let's learn that maybe tameh we should have a person be chayiv if I go ahead and take a corpse and bring it in the room where one is in, and he's now tameh. So maybe I should be chayiv malchus for doing that. So by a haircut, you only have to go ahead and redo 30 days. Then nevertheless, a person is commanded, other people are commanded not to go ahead and shave his nazir. So tuma, she says, it calls it tameh. Tuma, which does restarts the entire thing. Isn't obvious we should go ahead and make the person, nazir, commanded just like others are commanded not to make him tameh. Amar Kra, the pasuk says, "The tameh rosh nizro." The pasuk says, "V'timei rosh nizro, l'matame rosh nizro." Right. So there, in order to come to teach you that that pasuk is teaching you that even one is obligated not to go ahead and shave that others, to be, to go ahead and touch anybody else's head. So we see that dafka one is only that he is commanded not to become tameh, but others are not commanded to be metameh him. Okay, so let's learn the other way. All right. So you want to say you learn on Badafka over there by Tuma, we see that this specifically is commanded. So let's say also by case of haircuts, also only the Nazir is commanded, but not other people are not commanded to shave his. All right. That Tuma goes ahead and restarts the entire thing. Nevertheless, nevertheless, we're not so chamor when it comes that other people are commanded not to make him tameh. So so by haircut, which only restarts at 30 days, lo kol shkein, certainly we shouldn't have others commanded not to go ahead and shave his head. Certainly we should say, hey, you know what? Only the Nazir is commanded. If I go ahead and shave a Nazir's head, there's nothing on me. So Amakra, the pasuk says, Tar le'yavar al roishay. No razor should come on his head. Zakar be lo yavar. Who? Right?
Tomorrow. bring the psukim and say this is going from psukim. Why do I have to go through all these?
Why each one? Right. So
They call the home.
right. So through logic, in other
This
words,
is just they're halimu that they.
yeah, I think they're chalimut here. Because literally, I mean, this is all a summary. We haven't changed anything that we said in the Mishnah,
Not yet.
right? Everything, not to the end, right?
Pick up psukim and say what we learned from psukim.
So the pasuk says, "Rosho, so kari be lo yabar hu, lo yabar leacher." We learn from there. Not only him is lo yabar, but also others are commanded lo yabar. Do not bring a razor upon his head. So let's go ahead and say that shaving, right? Maybe should not be permitted. And I was basically by a matzora, right? For kavachemer from wine. The wine which is not wine which is not loisaiser. Now, you don't restart if you have wine, and nevertheless, you're never allowed to have mitzvah wine. So tigalacha shemutera. So we do find the other shave. So an obvious, right? That that since tigalachas doesn't saiser, doesn't restart it, certainly it should not be permitted. So Amar Rachmana. So then Torah says, actually we saw this just earlier. Reisho Amar Rachmana Zakeno. Right? We saw Reisho Zakeno. The extra words by the Mitzorah. Go ahead and shave your head, even if you're a Nazir, which you're forbidden to cut your hair. Nevertheless, shave your head during this time. I have the tigalachas like the cloud. So maybe we should say that cutting your hair should not go ahead and make you restart anything as a kavachah from wine. The wine, there is never a heter to go ahead and have mitzvah wine. In other words, if you have wine, you don't go ahead and start over. Shaving, we do find that you're allowed to go ahead and shave for a mitzvah, i.e. mitzvah. And then certainly it should not go ahead and restart anything. So our answer is not being in Gidol Seir B'Halak. No, we are required to have Gidol Seir, right, a hair growth of 30 days, and that you have not done that if you go ahead and shave your head in the middle, therefore you need 30 days. Okay. Last suggested point. What about, let's say, wine? Maybe you should go ahead and you have to restart 30 days. From shaving. So shaving, which is permitted for mitzvah. I.e. in a case of Mitzorah, Soteres, and then we see that you go ahead and shave, you got to do 30 days. So the wine, which you can never have, is more severe, you can't have for mitzvah. And if you do drink wine in the din start, maybe you should go ahead and have to start up 30 days. So my answer is no, midu tama. The only reason for the 30 days is not the halach from the pasuk, rather means because you need gidol seir, right? And over here in Gabayayin, hakayim saro, and when it comes to wine, right, you drink wine, it does not affect your gidol seir, and therefore that logic does not follow. Fine. Now you Mishnah. Now that was the fun stuff. Now let's get the business. Now you Mishnah. Let's get the business. Tigalachas tuma ketan. How does one? We said a nazir becomes tummy in the middle. You got to go ahead and you got to become tar. You got to bring your karbonos, right? Remember, he becomes tummy, let's say by a mace. Go ahead and bring your karbonos, and now you got to go ahead and bring your karbonos in the middle, and then restart it. Now, tigalachas tuma ketzad. So just like any other case of tumas mace, right? The person waits 7 days. He sprinkles on day 3. He sprinkles on day 7. Usually the way it works is, they sprinkle from the paraduma, from the ashes, and then after the 7 days, then he waits till the evening, and then he is then he's tahor, right? So he goes ahead and he shaves his head on day 7. And then he brings his karbonos on day 8, right? We had earlier as to when he begins the count. Is it the day 8? We're not going to get into that now. Now we just want to know how to end this. So he brings his karbanos on beyond Shmini. Vim gilach b'Shmini. But let's say he went ahead and he sprinkled on day 3 and 7. And he forgot to go ahead and shave his head and says, "Oops." He goes in and day 8 to shave his head. Maybe kabanaysa bobia. He goes ahead and it's fine. 8th day, you can still do it, right? So even if he shaves his head, he forgot to shave his head on the 7th day. He shaves his head on the 8th day. You can go still bring your kabbalas on the 8th day. So that's the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. Amalei Rabbi Tarfa and Ma bein zeh mitzorah. What's the difference between zeh with the mitzorah? Now mitzorah, right? He also shaves his head, right? And but however by mitzorah, if mitzorah goes ahead and forgets to shave his head, right? He does it a day late. You have to bring the kabbalas the next day. So it's not just dependent on days. It's dependent on when you shave. It's always the day after you shave. Over here, it seems to be on day 8. So there's a difference. The chiluk is when it comes to be metaher, in other words, for the nazir to go ahead and be metaher, the nazir, that's dependent on days. Day 8, that's the most important thing. Shaving, day 7, preferably. You can still do 8, 7, 8, it's fine. However, mitzvah, tarasa tuli b'teglachsa. By mitzvah, it has to be the day after you shave your head. Ve'ina may be carbon, and therefore you need shaving and nightfall in order to be permitted to bring your carbon when it comes to mitzvah, and you do not have that if you do them both on day 8. Fine. So that was what Rabbi Tarfon said to Rabbi Akiva. So Zak Gemara, Akiva minei Allah. Wait, he told Rabbi Akiva this svara. He said, "Oh no, it's different. It's a chiluk." So did Rabbi Akiva agree with Rabbi Tarfon or not? We don't see a response from Rabbi Akiva in the Mishnah. So Akiva minei Allah. So Tashma, come listen. The Tani Hillel taught Giluch b'shmini maybe kabaroisav b'tishi. If a nazir went ahead, he forgot to go ahead on day 7. He shaved on day 8. Then he brings his karbanos on day 9, right? In other words, that you basically need to do the day after the shaving. And if you say he holds a good tire, but you should go ahead and bring it on day 8. In the case of the Mishnah, in other words, maybe when it could be that in addition to sprinkling, right, on day 7, right, they're all and shaving was also required to go ahead and be taiva, to go to the mikvah, and then the following day he can go ahead and bring his korban on day 8. But over here, so it's not the fact that the shaving required to push up to day 9. It's you actually need to go ahead to be the mikvah and then wait for nightfall. Then, so if he didn't do the mikvah on day 7, he waited until day 8. Then he wouldn't be allowed to. Another is not, right? So in other words, right, and according to this teretz, right? Let's say what about this scenario, right? One goes ahead, he shaves on day 7, but he forgot he didn't go to the mikvah on day 7, right? And he only went to the mikvah on day 8, right? So if it's totally and be type of it, then waiting, then he really won't be able to go ahead and bring his korban until the day after. Amar Abaye. Says Abaye, last topic of the day, right? It's a Shem will take us to the Mishnah on the top of the next page. Sort of goes quick, sort of doesn't. Amar Abaye. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's a difficult prat, but let's get through it. So Abaye says, so he found those who were the Chaverim of Rav Nosson bar Ishia. They were teaching Uba lifnei Hashem el Pesach el Moed Nesanam. So this is referring to a zav. Now, a zav is a person who is obligated to go ahead, and he saw 3 seminal drips, or I guess within 1 day, or 3 days, consecutive days. So he is obligated to wait 7 days because he's tameh, and on the 8th day, then afterwards he brings a korban. If he only saw 2 times and not 3, then he's still tameh for 7 days, but he doesn't bring a korban. Now, it says over here, he comes to the El Pesach El Moed. All right, now, because Pesach El Moed, which is basically comes now, there's a Machane Leviyah and there's Machane Shechina. So, but we have in the Beis Hamikdash is basically the Machane Shechina, right? When they traveled in the Midbar, the Shechina was the most chashuv, and that's basically the Azara, right? That's in the Beis Hamikdash. The Machane Leviyah is Harabayis up until Shar Nikanor. All right, you can go up until there, right? And that's the Machane Leviyah. And then afterwards is the Machane Yisrael, outside of the Harabayis, Yerushalayim. Now, so he says, and he comes to, now remember, a person who's a Zav, he's not allowed to enter, right? Or we'll see where he can or cannot. So it says he comes on day 8, even for his karbanos, right? So where is he able to come to? However, it's only when he goes to the mikvah on day 7, and then there's nightfall. Then he's able on day 8 to go ahead and come to Pesach Al-Moed. But if not, into the Machane Leviyah. But if not, he's not able to. Alma, Saber Tluyoim Shozav Kizav Dami. We see over here now a person who goes to the mikvah on day 7, but he doesn't wait till Nightfall is a Tvul Yom, right? Tvul Yom, like person was Toivel, but Yom, right? Tvul Yom is the person who did the day, and therefore, since we see he's not allowed to enter the Machna Levi until after he's Toivel, and then there's Erev Shemesh, and then the nightfall, it must be that before nightfall, he's just like a Zav. Just like a Zav is not able to go ahead and enter Harabayis, Machna Levi, so too, even a Tvul Yom is not able to. So Abai says, however, I said to the friends of Nasim Ba'oshia, Elamiata Gabi Nazir Tame. What about a Nazir Tame? The Pasuk says, right? It says El Kohen El Pesach Al Moed. Once again, same lashon El Pesach Al Moed, right? You come to the Pesach Al Moed, you come to Shar Nikanor, right? So Amos Ba, you want to give you the same drasha. When is he able to? Bizman Shetavav Asavayev Shemesh. It's only when, right? He comes and he has to be Toivel, right? And then wait till nightfall. Now remember, we're not talking about a Zav here. We're talking about a person who is just Tamei Meis. So, but this can't be true. You can't tell me that he's not allowed into the Machna Leviah, right, until he's Toivel and Erev Shemesh. Why? Michni. Let's take a look at it. Let's analyze the top of Memheim and Aleph. Shari Nikanor Hecha Kaimin. Where is Shari Nikanor located? So that is the Shari Leviah. That's over there in the Machna Leviah. Right? But Tanya, we learn Tamei Meis Mutar Lekanes b'Machna Leviah. Right? A person who's Tamei Meis, right, is allowed to go ahead and enter Harabayis. He's just not able to go into the Azara. Right? Even a mace himself is allowed. You got to go ahead and bring a body into the Harabayis. It means he's allowed to go ahead and bring a Machlaviyah. So even a Tamei Meis is allowed. So how could you go ahead and tell me a person who's Tamei Nazir is not allowed to go ahead and enter until he's Toivel, and then he's Toivel, and then waits till Erev Shemesh? Even if he wasn't Toivel, right? He's allowed to enter, right? So that can't be the drasha. That's different. So Ella, rather, Abai want to say Tvul Yom Shel Zav Lav Kizavdam. Rather, it must be that Tvul Yom of a Zav is not like a Zav, right? And Afilu Hachi Kevan the Mechusa Kapara Lo'al. There's a difference. It's not a Tvul Yom. That's not the word. The word is Mechusa Kapara. Mechusa Kapara is somebody who lacks bringing a korban. And if he basically was Toivel already and he's ready to go, but he's missing a korban, then, which is a person who is saw 3 times, then that's the person who's not able to enter. So if he's already in the Machlaviyah, right? Why does it say over there, right, that we're talking about that if he's not allowed to go ahead and enter in? Why does it say right?
Yo.
So over there, one second. Who is that? So we say over there that not only, right, is a so over there, since he is mechusa kapara, he's missing a couple. He didn't bring his karbanos yet, and he has hair of shemesh. So those two together prevent it. So a person who doesn't have those two, it's not just the fact he went to the mikvah and there's no night. It's the fact he went to the mikvah, there's no night yet, and he didn't bring the karbanos. That what prohibits a zav, right, for a full-fledged zav western korban. That's what prohibits him from entering into Machna Leviah. It's not the fact that he just went to the mikvah, it's not night yet. That's okay. It's the fact that he didn't go to the mikvah and he didn't bring his karbanos. That's what prohibits a zav from entering into even Harabayis. And once it's day 8, so he has to have shemesh, he's just missing karbanos, then he's allowed to go ahead and enter. The Hasam Minolan, and over there, how do we know? The title in the Brisa, it says, Tamei Yiyah. So the pasuk says, Tamei should be, L'Rabbas Tvul Yom, right? So Tvul Yom. However, Tumasabo, the rabbi is Mechusa Kapara, right? So in other words, to go ahead and someone who was a Tvul Yom is allowed to enter, but it says Tumasabo, when he still says Tuma, that means to include someone who's Mechusa Kapara. So only somebody who is Mechusa Kapara and the evening, that person is forbidden to. But somebody who is not, right, there's just hair of shemesh, Tvul Yom, that is not the same as a regular person or a zav. All right, we'll stop here at the Miftah. Okay, everybody, everyone have a wonderful day, a wonderful Purim, and we'll continue this the new Mishnah tomorrow. And happy birthday to